Alrighty, y'all, it's time to learn about, I believe, a different sport. This is the rules of snooker. So other than literally video games, I think on like the N64 or something, I had like a billiards game from a long time ago, and it had, like different options, like 8-ball, 9-ball, and I think snooker was one of them. And I was a kid playing this game sometimes. And long story short, I don't remember ever playing it. If I did play it, I didn't know what I was doing. And quite frankly, fast forward to now, I'm a grown, adult, and, well, I actually don't know what it is. But between different friends' houses and, of course, playing at, pool halls and stuff, I do love playing pool when I can. Again, usually 8-ball, otherwise called sometimes just solids and stripes, simplified a little bit. And then, of course, 9-ball, I actually think is pretty cool. But that's pretty much all I know. So this was suggested by a couple of people. I actually have Devin as the most recent suggestion through email, so thank you for that. Just a quick overview going through the rules. From my understanding, it's probably more popular in different countries throughout Europe than it is over here, I guess. So let's check it out. This is from a great channel called Ninley. He explains different sports and stuff in this video, so make sure to check him out with the link down below. All right, here we go. Let's see.
The object of the game is for you to win more frames than your opponent. Snooker is a game that's usually played between two people, and to win a frame, you must score more points than your opponent.
Boy, that table almost looks huge. I don't know if it's like the angle of the camera or some sort of distortion. Jeez. And then I see a lot of balls, and there's like no numbers on them.
To score, you must use a wooden cue to hit a white ball, known as a cue ball, into a coloured ball, and for that ball to go into any of the pockets on the table. This is known as potting the ball.
Okay.
The table is roughly 12 feet by 6 feet, and the amounts of points vary depending on the colour of the ball being potted.
God, I feel goofy. Is that the normal size? Or is that a bigger table? Let me check. Okay, so with a little research here, at least here in the U.S., what I'm familiar with, we have 44 inches by 88 inches or 9 feet by 4.5 feet are, I guess, the most common. That is way smaller. So that big one for snooker would be really interesting to play in person. Jeez, that's gigantic. Wow. All right, back to
15 red balls on the table are worth 1 point each.
Okay.
The yellow ball is worth 2 points, the green ball 3 points, the brown ball 4 points, the blue ball 5 points, the pink ball 6 points, and the black ball is worth a maximum of 7 points.
Wow. Okay, so there's tons of balls. 15, I believe you said. And those are just 1 point. And then everything else, there's only one ball. But, of course, they carry more point values. Okay, so it's quite a lot going on. And they're always lined up like this to start, I suppose.
In snooker, the rules stipulate that you must hit a red ball on the table.
Oh, okay.
If you manage to pot a red ball, you are then given a free choice to pot a different coloured ball to add more points to your total score.
So your initial turn, you have to pot a red one, no matter what. Then if you succeed in doing that, you don't obviously scratch the cue ball, then you can aim at whatever you want.
If you successfully potted a colour ball after a red, you score the relevant number of points, and the coloured ball is put back onto the table.
Oh, wow.
The entire process begins again, and you'll be allowed to try and get another red ball into one of the pockets.
Okay.
If at any time you fail to pot a relevant ball, it is the end of your turn, and your opponent will be given the chance to aim for a red ball so that they can score themselves.
Right, okay.
Once all the red balls have been potted, you must aim for the rest of the coloured balls in ascending order.
Oh, you have to do it in ascending order if they're the only ones left. Okay, some layers to this. It's not terribly difficult, but there's a lot of layers. It would take a little bit to learn and play out.
The highest score after the black ball has been potted wins. Games are usually played to the best of 11, 15 or 17 frames, and winning more frames than your opponent wins you the game. Now that sounds a bit too simple. There's more, isn't there?
I feel like there probably is.
There's a lot of things you cannot do in snooker.
Okay.
You cannot touch any of the balls with anything except your cue. You cannot pot the cue ball, accidentally or otherwise.
Right.
You cannot hit...
What happens if you scratch, right? You hit the cue ball, and I'm sure that's got to be some sort of penalty.
It's an incorrect coloured ball out of turn. You cannot hit any of the balls off the table.
Oh,
you cannot hit the cue ball twice in one stroke. And you cannot move a touching ball. These infractions result in a foul, and your opponent will be awarded 4 points and the next shot.
Oh, okay.
Fouls can also be awarded 5, 6, or 7 points for fouls involving the blue, pink, or black balls, respectively.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Snooker is a very strategic game, and that's basically the rules in a nutshell. But there's a few other things you'll need to understand before playing or watching a game. For example, cannon. A cannon is where a player hits the cue ball to contact more than one ball.
Whoa.
This is usually a strategic play to leave the cue ball in a favourable position for the next shot. Touching ball.
Okay.
If the cue ball is touching another ball, the referee will call touching ball. You must play your next shot without moving this ball, otherwise a foul will be called against you.
Oh my god, that's kind of difficult. If it's resting against one of those? Ooh, okay. You got to really get dialed in and really strategize your shots, right?
Snookered.
Obviously.
You can strategically hit the cue ball to make it difficult for your opponent to hit the next required ball. When a ball is blocking a shot to the next required ball, this is known as being snookered, and makes the next shot very difficult for your opponent. Foul and a miss.
So that's a form of defense you can think about.
If a player fouls and fails to hit the required coloured ball, the opponent will be awarded 4 points or more, and has free choice to play the next shot where the ball lies, or have the balls reset to their previous positions and make the offending player try that shot again.
What? That's weird. Okay.
Free ball. If a player fouls and leaves the cue ball in a snookered position, he is eligible to declare a free ball. He can pot any coloured ball and will only score 1 point for it. However, he will retain the next shot, so this is usually a strategic play to stay on the table. Conceding. If a player does not think that he has a realistic chance to win the frame, or realises that there isn't enough points on the table to get a win, the player can concede defeat and a new frame will start.
Oh, wow.
Conceding.
That could almost be a strategy in itself. I'm sure that's not common, but maybe if you think like the math ain't adding up, right? Where you are just so far behind in that frame, you can just concede, surrender basically, but that way you're not wasting the next however many minutes thinking and like strategizing and going out there and, you know, hitting balls back and forth when you already lost, right? It could end up kind of taking you out of your groove even more. So that could be a strategy, honestly, right? You're like, yep, you win this frame, let's move on to the next, start fresh. Maybe I can get some momentum going.
Is usually done verbally, or by not returning to the table when it's your shot.
Ha!
Maximum.
You could just sit there like a boss, freaking take a drink, be like, yeah, I heard you. I'm not going up there.
Break. The maximum you can score in one trip to the table is 147 points.
Oh my god.
This involves potting a red, then potting a black, repeating this process 15 times, and then proceeding to pot the colours in order without fouling. If you manage...
No way. Have people done that? That'd be freaking insane. That would be a hell of a streak.
To do this, this is known as a maximum break, or a 147, and is the equivalent of a perfect game in 10-pin bowling, or pitching a perfect game in baseball. It's not impossible, just rare.
Wow, I bet it's rare.
Snooker is a popular game worldwide, and once you've played or watched a few games, the rules will become clear.
Yeah.
If you found this video at all...
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not going to act like, boom, I already know all the rules right there and then. I absorbed that. I'm a snooker genius now. Yeah, no. But at least I have it laid out now. I get the general premise, especially with the red balls. You basically unlock the right to hit the higher value balls, and you want to try and keep your streak going, of course, and rack up some points. And then the general sense of, you know, penalties, what not to do. Now, I'm sure there's a little details here and there I'd forget right away because obviously I just heard this stuff right now. And I'm someone that likes to put stuff to action to really finalize learning something, right? Hands-on rather than just hearing it and memorizing it. So I'll have to look into if there's anywhere to play like snooker near me, because I'm sure it is a thing in the U.S., probably not as popular as it would be elsewhere. Yeah, I wonder if there's anywhere near me where, you know, this is a thing. I think it's interesting how big the table is. I mean, it looks big on camera. That's rare for something to usually stand out like that. So then, of course, all the different solid colored balls. It sounds pretty interesting. I bet this would be a fun spectator sport as well. This could actually be pretty cool to watch on TV. I imagine this might get pretty competitive. Does anyone know? I haven't looked since the 90s, like N64 days. Maybe I'll have to take a look. Like, is there any really cool, I guess for like computer, is there any cool like games, like pool games, video games where I bet maybe I could try snooker that way? Because I don't know if I'll be able to just tomorrow go try this in person somewhere. I think I might have a better chance digitally, and I think that'd be fun because then I might be able to actually understand this a little better hands-on. Yeah, you'll have to let me know. I mean, I always learn from you guys the most, so comments are really cool on a video like this. That was an interesting breakdown, and I've never, my whole life, I've always heard that name here and there. Mostly, I think, from that old video game. I've never played it. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play it. That's, snooker is just one of those things I always heard the name, but I never knew what it was. So this is pretty cool to see what it is. So yeah, any tips or feedback you would like to tell me in the comments, greatly appreciated. Is this something you play on a regular basis? I really like looking at the different sports. We've been doing a lot of that lately, and I think it's really fun. So I do appreciate your guys' comments and, of course, suggestions. Of course, I appreciate you being here, just watching. I hope you had a great weekend. It's almost over. I don't know how. It's flying by. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. That's about all I got for you. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, catch you later.